Bali is an island of impossible green. Its rice terraces step down hillsides like stairways for giants. Mist rises over a lake temple at dawn. The air hangs heavy with the scent of frangipani, clove. Sunlight filters through the canopy of ancient banyan trees. It is a place known across the world for its profound beauty. And at the heart of this beauty are its temples. Thousands of them dot the landscape. They stand silent, draped in moss, draped in offerings. They seem peaceful. But beneath this serene surface, a different story waits. It is a story of power, fear, survival, a story that is rarely told. Bali is a small island in the vast Indonesian archipelago, a place where spirituality is woven into daily life. The Balinese practice a unique form of Hinduism. It is a blend of ancient animist beliefs, Buddhist teachings, Hindu traditions from India. This faith sees the world as a delicate balance, a balance between the forces of good and evil and between order and chaos. The island is not just a home for people. It is the dwelling place of God's ancestors and a host of powerful spirits, both benevolent and malevolent. This is why Bali is called the Island of the Gods. To maintain balance, people honor the spirits. Temples, or pura, are the gateways for that communication. Not just places of worship, cosmic centers, points of connection, the human world, the upper world of the gods, the lower world of the demons. Temples for every aspect of life. Village temples, family temples, rice paddy temples, and grand state temples that serve the island. Each has a purpose, a specific deity to honor, and a calendar of ceremonies. Temple courtyards thick with sweet, smoky incense, the scent of prayer, small woven palm leaf baskets everywhere, filled with petals, rice, and a stick of burning incense. These are called kaning sari, daily offerings, a token of gratitude, a gift to the spirits to thank them and ask for harmony. A simple act, repeated millions of times each morning. This quiet ritual is the heartbeat of Bali, a visible reminder of the unseen world living alongside the everyday. The history of these temples stretches back over 1,000 years. Their foundations are rooted in beliefs that are older still. Before Hinduism arrived, the people of Bali practiced a form of ancestor worship and nature veneration. They believed that the souls of their ancestors watched over them. They believed that every rock, tree, and stream possessed its own spiritual energy. The earliest sacred sites were not grand temples, stone megaliths, sacred springs, ancient trees. These were places of raw, natural power, places where people came to connect with the forces that governed their lives, their harvests, their deaths. These ancient rituals were potent and direct. They were designed to appease the powerful, often volatile spirits of the land. The world was a dangerous place. Famine, disease, natural disasters. Survival depended on maintaining a good relationship with the unseen world. To do this, people made sacrifices. These were not just offerings of flowers or food. Historical accounts and archaeological findings suggest that in the distant past, the sacrifices were much more significant. Animals were offered to pacify angry earth spirits or to thank the gods for a bountiful harvest. The act was a transfer of life energy. The whispers of these old rites still linger. In some of the most remote and ancient temples, you can feel the weight of this history. The stone feels different. The air is heavier. While the practice has evolved, the memory of blood sacrifice is embedded in the island's folklore and sacred texts. Certain ceremonies, even today, involve symbolic elements that harken back to these primal rituals. These stories are not meant to frighten. They are a solemn reminder of the lengths to which people would go to protect their communities, the depth of their belief, and the seriousness of their pact with the spirit world. Today, the rituals are expressions of devotion and gratitude. The sound of bronze gongs and bamboo flutes fills the temple courtyards during ceremonies. Priests in white chant mantras in ancient Sanskrit. Women walk in long, elegant processions, carrying towering offerings of fruit and cakes on their heads. These are acts of beauty and grace, performed with the same intention as the ancient rites. They are done to restore balance, to honor the gods, to placate the demons, and to ensure that life on the island can continue in peace and prosperity. The form has changed, but the purpose remains the same. Bali is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. It is a land born from volcanic fury. The island's very soil is enriched by ancient eruptions. But this creative force is also a destructive one. The volcanoes that tower over the island, Mount Agung, Mount Batur, are not just mountains. They are powerful deities. They are sacred. They are also feared. Throughout Bali's history, these volcanoes have awakened with devastating consequences. They have sent rivers of lava, clouds of hot ash, burying villages, burying forests, burying temples in their path. These events are etched into the collective memory of the people. The great eruption of Mount Agung in 1963 was a pivotal moment in modern Balinese history. The eruption lasted for nearly a year. It claimed over 1,000 lives, displaced hundreds of thousands. Entire communities were wiped from the map. Yet, miraculously, the mother temple of Baisakhi, located high on the slopes of Agung, was largely spared. The lava flows passed by it, sometimes by mere meters. For the Balinese, this was not a coincidence. It was a sign of the temple's immense spiritual power, proof that the gods had protected their most sacred place. This cycle of destruction and rebirth is a recurring theme in the story of Bali's temples. When a temple is damaged or destroyed by a volcano, it is never abandoned. The community will always return. They will rebuild. The act of rebuilding is a powerful ritual in itself, an act of defiance against the forces of chaos, a reaffirmation of faith. The new temple often incorporates stones from the old one. The volcanic ash that once brought destruction becomes part of the sacred ground. The memory of the disaster is not erased. It is integrated into the temple's story, adding another layer of meaning and power. This history explains why the Balinese have such a profound respect for their volcanoes. They live in the shadow of immense power. They know that life can be taken away in an instant. Building a temple on the slopes of an active volcano is not an act of ignorance. It is a profound statement of faith, an acknowledgement of the mountain's power, a plea for its mercy. The temple becomes a mediator, a place where humans can speak to the spirit of the volcano, to honor it, to ask for its blessing rather than its wrath. The temples stand as symbols of resilience in the face of overwhelming force. Every temple in Bali has a story, not just a history but a legend. These legends are as real to the people as the stones of the temples themselves. They tell of gods descending to earth, of epic battles between heroes and demons, and of priests with magical powers. One of the most famous legends is that of the sea temple, Pura Tana Lot. The story tells of a 15th century priest named Nirartha. He came to the site and felt its sacred energy. He meditated on a rocky outcrop just off the coast. Local fishermen saw him and brought him gifts, but the local village chief tried to drive him away. Nirartha, using his powers, moved the entire rock he was sitting on out into the sea, creating the foundation for the temple. To protect it, he created giant sea snakes from his sash. These snakes, it is said, still guard the temple from evil spirits and intruders. This legend explains why Tana Lot is so revered. It is not just a beautiful temple on a rock. It is a site created by a powerful holy man, protected by mythical creatures. Other legends speak of curses and their consequences. Many temples have strict rules of conduct. One must be properly dressed. Women who are menstruating are not permitted to enter. These rules are not arbitrary. They are based on ancient concepts of purity and spiritual energy. The legends warn of what might happen if these rules are broken. A story might tell of a foreigner who disrespected a shrine and was followed by misfortune. These tales serve as cautionary reminders, reinforcing the importance of respect and helping preserve the sanctity of these holy places for future generations. These myths also serve to explain the unexplainable, giving meaning to strange natural formations or historic events. A demon becomes a rock, a spring is born of a god's staff. Passed down to children, reenacted in dances, carved into the walls, an oral and visual library connecting present to creation. The locations of Bali's most famous temples often seem perilous. They are built on the edge of dizzying cliffs, inside dark caves, beside the turbulent sea. Pura Limpoyang Luhur sits near the summit of a mountain, requiring a climb of over 1,700 steps. Pura Luhur Uluwatu is perched on the tip of a 70-meter-high cliff, jutting out into the Indian Ocean. These were not easy places to build. They required immense effort and courage. The decision to build in such dramatic and dangerous locations was entirely intentional. These are liminal spaces, places where the boundaries between the physical and spiritual worlds are naturally thin. A cliff edge is a powerful symbol, a line between the solid earth and the vast, empty air. It represents a transition point. For the ancient Balinese, such a place was a natural gateway to the spirit realm. Building a temple here was a way to create a permanent watchtower, a point of communion with the divine. Similarly, the ocean was seen as a source of life and danger. It provided fish, but also brought storms and unknown creatures from the deep. A sea temple like Uluwatu, Tanah Lot, acts as a spiritual guardian, a place to pray for the safety of sailors and to appease the powerful gods of the sea. Caves are also profoundly sacred, gateways into the earth. Pura Goalawa is built around a deep bat cave, said to connect to Besaki. Not just a cave, a sacred portal. The temple honors and contains the energies from within the earth itself. Building in such powerful places was great faith and deep knowledge. Temples harmonized with, not dominating, the land. Positioned to channel natural energy, chosen by architects and priests to tap immense power. A focal point where prayers are potent and the presence of the gods is near. The danger only adds to the sacredness. Despite the passage of centuries and the arrival of the modern world, the traditions surrounding these temples remain vibrantly alive. The beliefs that inspired their construction are not relics of the past. They are practiced every single day. The rhythmic sound of a priest's bell, the scent of incense, and the sight of daily offerings are the constant sensory backdrop to life in Bali. The temple is not a museum. It is the active, beating heart of the community. It is where people come to celebrate births, to mourn deaths, and to mark the turning of the seasons. Local communities are the custodians. Each temple is cared for by its congregation, responsible for upkeep, cleaning, and the Odalan anniversary. This responsibility is passed down through generations. It is a sacred duty. The younger learn by watching, chants, dances, and the art of offerings. The respect is profound. Before entering, both locals and visitors wear a sarong and a sash, a sign of respect, crossing from ordinary to holy. Some inner areas are reserved for those praying, to preserve sanctity. In a world rapidly changing, the people have held fast to their spiritual identity. The temples serve as anchors, reminders of heritage, values, and worldview. Caring is not a chore, it is identity, honoring ancestors, gods, and the balance that sustains all. The rituals are the threads that bind the community together and connect them to their past. Each year, millions of visitors are drawn to Bali, captivated by the island's beauty. They arrive with guidebooks and cameras, eager to see the famous temples. They walk the stone pathways of Uluwatu and climb the steps to Tirta Empul. They capture stunning photographs of tiered pagodas against blue skies. What they see is undeniably beautiful. Intricate carvings, mossy statues, serene courtyards. But often, this is all they see. The gaze rests on the surface, missing the profound depth beneath. The true meaning of a temple is not in its appearance, it is in its purpose. A visitor sees a moss-covered stone. A local sees a seat for a visiting god. A tourist hears monotony. A devotee hears sacred vibrations that purify and invite the deities to descend. Without understanding, a temple can feel like an empty stage. Missteps happen, standing where only priests should, or entering improperly dressed, small actions that can hurt and disrupt a delicate spiritual atmosphere. The challenge is to move from spectator to respectful guest. Learn a little, and the stones change. Dress appropriately, speak softly, never point feet at a shrine. Listen and observe. Glimpse the unseen world that gives these temples their true power and beauty. The dark stories behind Bali's temples do not diminish their beauty. Instead, they enrich it. They give it weight and substance. They reveal these are not just places of peace, but places of resilience. The beauty we see today is a testament to a long history of survival, forged in fire, forged in grief, shaped by fear, shaped by faith. The serene smile of a carved goddess, her temple stands on the slopes of a volcano that once destroyed villages. The tranquility of a seaside shrine, built to calm the violent spirits of the ocean. These temples are living memorials. The stones hold the memory of generations, the hands that carved them, the priests who consecrated them, the communities that rebuilt them, the fear of the eruption, the hope that followed, a dialogue between past and present. Walk through a temple gate, step into that dialogue. The scent of incense, a prayer offered for 1,000 years, the sound of the bell, an echo of ceremonies long past. Beauty and sorrow are often intertwined. Next time you find yourself in a place of stunning beauty, pause. Look beyond the perfect view. Listen for the quieter stories. Think of the people who came before, their struggles, their beliefs. Consider unseen forces, natural and spiritual. Mindful observation turns a visit into a deeper journey. Connect not just with your eyes, but with your heart and your mind. The most beautiful places often have the most complex histories. Bali's temples, more than pretty photos, libraries of stone and spirit. Find meaning in chaos. Create beauty in the face of destruction. Honor forces greater than ourselves. Deepest fears and highest hopes share the same space. Look and see, listen and understand. They ask for our respect. If you enjoyed this video, click the like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel Travel 101 for your chance to win our weekly and monthly prizes. Win weekly prizes, win monthly prizes. The temple stands in silent watch.